Hello, folks. Welcome back to my channel. This is the World of TV Shows, and today I have another episode review for you for Medium. And this time we'll be looking at the 13th episode of the first season called Being Mrs. O'Leary's Cow. The episode originally aired on April 25th, 2005 on NBC. It was directed by Ronald L. Schwartz and written by Glenn Gordon Cairn as well as Melinda Sue. So this episode is basically about Allison having a dream involving some kind of a plane crash, and she later on finds out that there's something about the pilot, and I don't want to spoil it too much or anything, the episode that is, but basically she's gonna be facing some kind of a dilemma, and in order basically to prevent the plane from crashing, there's something that, she could take into account, but she doesn't really know whether this would be a wise decision or not, based on what she knows. So this is basically how the episode is mostly about. Meanwhile, the side story is about Allison's middle daughter. Her name is Bridget, and she basically is wearing this bike helmet all the time, and her husband Joe becomes a little bit, worried about her, about especially in regards to that particular thing, that particular trend that she seems to be, this phase maybe that she's going through. So, needless to say that there's going to be some tension between Allison and her husband Joe, and especially also more so with the dilemma about the plane crash and what she should do in order to try and stop it, right, from happening. So, yeah, this is pretty much how the episode goes, what it's about. So I thought that this episode was pretty good. I did really enjoy it, especially there's a kind of a gruesome finding in this episode involving the desert, and I'm not going to tell you what it is or anything like that, but man, this was pretty good. And I really enjoyed the way the episode develops, and Allison has to once again question herself, and she's going to ask her husband for advice in order to know what she should do about what she knows, and her husband is going to basically tell her about what he thinks. And I did enjoy this whole kind of, morality thing, for lack of better terms, this looking for the right thing to do. I thought that was pretty interesting. So yeah, this episode is definitely one of the best of the season, perhaps, yes, because of how good it was, how interesting, how, when you see sometimes things are not exactly the way they appear to be at first. So I did enjoy that part as well. And also with the whole humor thing with Bridget and the school. Yes, she's about to have her school picture taken, so her father Joe and Allison are gonna be arguing a little bit. So I thought that this was funny as well, pretty interesting. So yeah, this episode does have a nice plot, especially with the whole plane crash element to it, right? Planes, or many people are afraid of planes, of getting into planes, and so on and so forth. So I thought that this episode with the whole plane going down was pretty good as a plot for the episode, and what Allison has to do in order to try and stop it, in the episode, and the pilot himself, who is kind of, you can say that he's hiding something, and he might have a secret of his own, which I don't want to spoil for you, anything like that. So that's why I'm trying to keep it as, spoiler free as I possibly can. So I'm not gonna, I don't reveal the main plot, the final twist on purpose, so that those who haven't watched this episode can enjoy it without me, possibly, telling you about what it's about and ruin the experience of the first time watching for those who are about to. So yeah, Anyhow, I did enjoy this episode. Also, we have Detective Lee Scanlon, who's going to be helping Allison in this. And there's going to be, something involving a car at some point. I thought that there are some pretty scary scenes in this episode, especially with the Arizonian desert, at some point, and yeah, it's kind of one of those darker toned, darker themed episodes, so yeah, it's pretty intense. It gets pretty intense at times. But let's move on to the actors. Perhaps we have Chad Lowe, who plays David Cole, who is our pilot, who I thought he was pretty good in this. And if I'm not mistaken, he was in other shows as well, but he was pretty good, interesting. David Cubitt is Detective Lee Scanlon. Faye Masterson, female passenger at some point in the plane at the beginning, and so on and so forth. We have Rob Benedict, who plays the male passenger. Rob Benedict, who was in other TV shows as well, right? We have Neil Schwarry, airline employee, is the character he plays. Michael Kreider, who plays new pilot. Elliot Crew, co-pilot. John Hartman, forensic specialist, as well as Patrick Robert Smith, who plays delivery man. So these actors were really good in this, especially Chad Lowe, and even Faye Masterson and Rob Benedict, were also pretty good. Give a pretty good performance, especially with the whole plane and this feeling, that you can tell from the as the episode begins, you have this plane and you're afraid because something might happen, because Allison's dreams always, show something scary, you know, about to happen. So you're kind of at the edge of your seats, pun intended. So yeah, that was a pretty good episode in my opinion. And like I said, the whole morality quest, this whole looking for the right thing to do, this dilemma, and Allison not knowing at some point, and then as the episode later on progresses, there's gonna be the outcome, the final twist. I thought that this was all arranged in such a beautiful, perfect way. I really enjoyed it, especially with the whole, yes, the characters, the investigation. It was one of these episodes that I really enjoy, right? Having watched it a few times already, rewatched it, I thought that, yes, this is definitely one of my favorites of the season, and yeah, possibly of the show itself as a whole, because of how good it was. There's also this music that begins, and you probably don't know if you haven't watched the show, but it's kind of a theme that keeps coming back. It's a little bit ominous, it's a little bit mysterious, and I really loved it, right? It's so beautiful. It's a beautiful piece. And it begins at sometime near the end of the episode, and it will come back in a few others. I'll mention it if I remember, but I really really enjoyed it. I really enjoyed this whole plot. With the pilot and the plane crashing, and also even the side story with Bridget and her not wanting to take off her helmet. I thought that was funny. That kind of adds some kind of humor, some kind of lighter tone to the episode, since it's kind of dark, to be honest with you, and there's some, there are some gruesome graphic scenes in this. So for those who are kind of easily scared by such things, yes, you might wanna, yes, that's you might wanna consider. Perhaps, yes, I'm just giving you a little heads up, because this show as a whole kind of gets graphic at times. It has a lot of violence, it has some blood. So, yeah, it's definitely a dark episode with some scary elements, some scary visuals. But that's pretty much it for this episode. I believe that it was a pretty good one. So if I were to rate it on a scale from 1 to 10, I'd definitely give it an 8.5 out of 10. Really enjoyed it. The whole plot, as I said, without repeating myself too much or anything and boring the heck out of you, which I don't want to do. It was a pretty nice episode, and I really enjoyed it for what it was. I liked the chemistry between the main actors, Patricia and Jake, right, who play Allison and Joe. I thought that this is when, when they get angry and, stuff like that, they really, really sell it, right? You really believe it. It's really good acting from them, really good performance. So 8.5 out of 10 for me for this episode. Really enjoyed everything about it. And yeah, even the pilot, who's kind of not a very good person, but there's something about him and the secrets, that's around, something that concerns him. I thought that was pretty good. So 8.5 out of 10 for me for this episode, being Mrs. O'Leary's cow. Really, really enjoyed this episode for what it was. So, like I said, 8.5 out of 10 for me. What about you folks? What did you think about this episode? Did you like it? Did you hate it? Now that we're nearing the end of the season, is there anybody who'd like to say anything about this first season, the show in general? I mean, I didn't get a single comment. Should I be worried? I mean, I'm doing this for the fun of it. I don't care if I don't get any views or anything like that. It's just fun for what it is. But if you would like to let me know about what you thought about this episode, the season, the show in general, your favorite characters, your favorite episodes, anything really, there's no judgment. You can let us know any freely about your view of the show, whether you like it or not, even if you hate it, I don't mind. It's up to you. But I think it's a pretty good show, and if you haven't watched it, you're missing out a lot. So please give it a shot if you haven't already. This is really good. So 8 out of 10 for me for this episode. All right, folks, thank you for watching. Take care and goodbye. This is the World of TV Show signing off.